You need to take your film out of the sheet protector, and you're going to take the film holder, which sits inside all of the machines. You pull it out, and you put your film across the lid, and you try to get the shiny side up, put it across, and then slide that back into the machine, like this. Now, on these machines, it just slides in and out. There's a few machines, like the one next to it, where if you want to take that out, you can't just slide it in and out, but they have a lever on the side, and this raises and lowers the platform, and then the film holder comes out. Okay? But all of the machines have a film holder of sorts, and either a lever on the side, or you can just pull it in and out. And once you have that, to change your images, you're going to have to move the head of the enlarger up and down, because that's where your image is going to be projected. If you want a larger image, you have to raise the head of the enlarger up. And with this machine, and many of the machines, you have a knob on the side back here. And if you take this knob and you turn it, it will move the head of the enlarger up and down. And that will make your pictures bigger and smaller. On the other machines, the one I was just demoing, on these machines here, they don't have a knob on the side. But what they have a plate here. You just push on this plate, pinch it together, and then the head moves up and down for the size of your image. Okay, so once your film is set, if you turn your timer to the focus setting, you're going to see your image show up on the platform. Now, depending on how high up your image is, it'll get larger as I move the head up. It'll get smaller as I move the head down, and you can tell it gets brighter if I have a smaller image, and it's darker as I move up, which means as the image is larger, I'm going to need more time to develop it, and if the image is smaller, I'm going to need less time to develop it. So once you have this rough size that you like in your frame of your image, then you need to turn on the side of the head. There's a knob that lets you set the focus. You turn the knob on the side of the lens, and you can see how the lens moves up and down instead of the head, and that focuses your image. The last step is to stop down your lens, which means once your image is in focus and nice and bright, you take your lens and you turn the lens and do 1, 2, 3 clicks and make your image darker by 3 stops, which means you're closing the aperture down, you're letting less light through, which means you will need more time to develop your image, but because we're only talking seconds, it will get you a better range of time when you're doing your test strip, and you'll end up with a better image. What that looks like from this end is that if your image is blurry, you need to turn the dial on the side to get a nice sharp image, and you do that with the aperture at its most open, at its brightest, and then before you print, you take your aperture and go down the 3 stops, so 1, 2, 3. You can see how much darker the image just got, but that will help you to get a better range of time. Now, the big question always is, how much developing time do I actually need? And if you look at your piece of photo paper, it's actually larger than this spot. Whether you're using the small paper or the large paper, there's always a piece sticking over. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this piece of photo paper and you're going to take it over to the cutting board. So at the paper cutter, you take your piece of photo paper and you line it up the long side along the black tape, and you'll have a piece sticking over. If you're in the senior classes and you've got the larger paper, you line the short end along the larger piece of tape, but you line it up, you take your cutter and you cut the strip off. Then you end up with a piece of photo paper for your print and a small strip for your test strip. So you take both and you go back to your enlarging station. When you're back at your enlarging station, you want to take your piece of photo paper and hide it somewhere where no light's going to hit it. Under your easel works first fine. And then you take your little test strip and you take it shiny side up and lay it across where your image is going to be. Take your piece of cardboard, cover up most of it, try not to touch it so you don't move it by accident, and have your timer set to just 1 second. And what I do is I just press it and give it 1 second of light. When that second is up, then I move down a little bit, give it another second, move down, 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 another second, and move down another second, and last 1 more second. Now when I develop this little strip, right now there's nothing on it, but when I develop it, you're going to see a range of time. So after you develop the test strip, you should have a strip that goes from light to dark. The dark end being the spot that was hit many times with light, the light end only being hit once or twice, depending on your timing. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds of time. And in our case, what we're looking for is we're looking for places where the white still looks white, and where the black is starting to look like black. So I would look in here, and I would say either 2 or 3 seconds of exposure time would be correct. So once I know that, I can head back into the darkroom and actually make my print. So once you know how much time you have, you take your piece of photo paper, you lift up your easel, the little metal knobs that line up the photo paper, put your photo paper down, set your time to the number of seconds you need. In our case, let's say 3 seconds, and then we hit start and we expose it for 3 seconds. And once that's exposed, then we can take our photo paper out, develop it like normal, and you should have a good print.